Hey kids, it's JJ again. Exciting new day today. We've got from Banggood the Real ACC or Realacc Purple 215. This is very similar, if not identical, to the Hippo. Been waiting for a few weeks for this. This is a 215 millimeter full-size quad frame. Very excited. Let's check this thing out real quick. Woohoo! All right. First things first, you've got a battery protector plate that I will not use, but I'll use for spare carbon when I need to fix something later. Battery gel pad. Interesting. That's very cool. Bunch of miscellaneous foam pieces that I have yet to figure out what they're for. We'll figure those out later when we build it. Good old-fashioned battery strap. Nice. Landing feet. I love it. They give you foam landing feet when you got a bottom mounted battery. The landing feet will never touch the ground. Use them for nostril stuffers. Let's see here. Top canopy pieces. Let's go ahead and do a measurement on these real quick. These are the sides for the mount. Let's see what we got. We're sitting at 2 mil. Pretty nice. Nice, good sharp edges for cutting weeds. Power distribution board. Very cool. Here, good old-fashioned Maytech. Isolated, filtered. Mini power. This is the mini. I'd hate to see the large. But anyway, perfect. I will be using this for this build because I am putting those new 28 amp BL Heli S Bullet ESCs on this. So that's awesome. Let's see. Bag of screws. Standoffs for your power distribution board. Your aluminum pieces that go on the sides. Very cool. Aluminium. Aluminum. These are going to go over these carbons. Very cool. And then you've also got, which I really like this, an aluminum antenna mount that is adjustable for your FPV transmitter. Very cool. And unibody, bottom. Let's see what we got. Maybe. All right, look at that. That's a beautiful thing right there. Looks like a bilateral frame, so there's no front and back. Looks like our holes are all identical. It's bilateral, so that can be the front, that can be the front. Doesn't matter. That makes life simple. Less things to screw up when you're building. And we've got, look at that, 4.3. Nice. That is nice fiber. Looks pretty rigid. One of the things that people overlook about the physics of these things that I see people reviewing, if you know anything about elasticity and tensile strength and things of that nature, you don't want this so strong you can't move it. That is bad. Okay, you want a little bit of flex. If this thing has got so much tensile strength to it that it has no flex to it at all, the minute you crash, it's going to shatter. You do want some elasticity to these. Okay, it's a big myth. You see all these guys reviewing frames where they're like, oh, it flexes. Look at that, it flexes. Let's see. That's perfect. I'm putting some pressure on there. It's flexing. You want it to flex. It's like a skyscraper. They do need to bend back and forth in the wind or they'll break and fall over. Study structural math and physics. You have to have some flex. So if I ever get a frame in that has zero flex, yeah, that's going to be great because I'm going to shatter it quick. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. Looks really good. I don't see anything I'd change as of yet. I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to put an Omnibus F3 flight controller in here. We're going to put in the 28 amp Bullet BL Heli S's, 2600 motors, 2600 kV motors, 600 milliwatt switchable transmitter probably, and that's about it. Give me 30 seconds and I will build this thing up and I'll be right back. And it's been 30 seconds. So here we are with the complete build. This is an awesome frame. I absolutely love it. The only downfall, I still have yet to put in these 2 screws, but the only downfall to this guy is there is no room. I went in lean with this one. I put in very short standoffs, screws on the ends of the standoffs instead of the standard style. Very short, and I used a power distribution board and a flight controller. That was it. Not a 4-in-1 ESC like I normally use. I use these 28 amp BL Heli S ESCs, which I really, really like. This is a tight build. I had no problems. I mean, I got it in there and it was perfect. But look at the clearance on that screw. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. Just nuts tight. Really nuts tight. I put my receiver... You can't see it. My receiver's actually under here. Okay? It's under the power distribution board. Then you got the power distribution board, and then you've got the Omnibus F3. I actually put my VTX on top of the quad, which I have never in my life done. Now, under this carbon fiber plate right here, it's held on by, well, in this case right now, 2 screws, but normally 4. Technically, you can put, I have enough room from height to get a VTX in there, but this VTX is too wide. So I've got a couple tinier ones coming that I may put in here. I don't know. This one's going to be a quad that I fly with my buddy, so I tend to change my power setting. So maybe I'll just leave it, honestly. Got my far view pagoda antenna on here. There's my antenna coming out. Use a zip strip with heat shrink to come out. No worries there. These props were provided to me by my buddy Blackhawk something. I can never remember his numbers on the end of there, but his name's Ian. I'll put a link to his page right up here, so if you can, go check him out. He's just starting into it and getting good. These props are the cat's ass. These are Racer Stars. I've got a ton of these coming in. I ordered, and I'll be doing some reviews hopefully next week or the week after, whenever they get here from Chinatown. What else can I say about this? It went together absolutely perfect. It's machined perfect. I did use different bolts. These round cap screws suck. I don't care what model I've ever built. The ones provided that are round caps suck. I don't like them, so I use these style. I've got a whole box of those laying around here somewhere. So any bolts that I'm going to be taking in and out to fix or repair, which in these 4 here, remove this whole top plate. And my antenna bolts I did the same thing with. These, just because I was lazy, I put them in. These round cap screws suck. Go for the standard cap screws, I'm telling you. Go out on Amazon, you can buy a box of them for like $6. Worth their weight in gold. They don't strip. These strip like ass. These are good, these are bad, okay? The strap that they give you is pretty decent. Zip strip my power lead coming out the back. I did just do some hillbilly hot glue on the back for the beeper because there's no room in this thing. I suppose I could have jammed the beeper in here. That's okay. I like it out in the open. But like I said, Betaflight Omnibus F3, everything in there is just great. I just did a couple punch tests outside on the driveway up in the air. Thing flies like a scalded dog. Like I said, 28 amp 4S setup, 2600 Racer Star KV motors. They work great. I don't care what anybody says. 2600 KV, bang for the buck. These are about the best motor you can buy. Now, that's bang for the buck. I prefer sunny skies and things of that nature and gold cobras and whatnot, but I fly like an idiot, so these are really nice for the money and the output you get. Fantastic. Again, VTX out here. I use crapola cameras because I trash them all the time. I guess if I could change one thing about this quad, is might have made this more like a chameleon and brought it out a little further. Notice the camera lens is not protected. I use crap cameras though. This is like an $11 camera. It's not fancy. It's not. I've got a couple Fox ears. I've got a couple run cams. Yes, they're great cameras, but I am brutal on quads. So I replace cameras. I smash quads. I don't like dropping $40 in on a camera. So that's what I do. A little quick trick here. On any camera, but especially the cheapo jobs, either this type or any type, doesn't really matter. Here's a Hellbender with a cheaper, box style camera in there. Instead of using the lock ring, which I always, when I was out flying with my buddy Ian the other day, I had all sorts of focusing problems on one of my quads, and it's got this lock ring that's usually right here. What I do is I take the lens all the way out. This is for focusing issues. And I take good Scotch tape, the clear Scotch tape, not that foggy shit, the clear stuff, and I wrap one strand, yay wide, just a bit of it, halfway around the lens, and then I screw the lens back in. It's super, super tight. So wherever you find your focal point, it just stays there. You don't have to hot glue it. You don't have to Loctite it. It's a really good trick. I recommend doing it. It works great. The 28 amp BL Heli S, these are rated up to 5S. What I do, obviously, like I always say, I can never say this enough, it's like a life jacket. Conformal coat your stuff. I did that in the review of these ESCs today. I just conformal coat them. I double sticky tape them. I do zip strip. This one's got double because of the battery lead. I do zip strip them on one end, and I do not on the other, and I used my 3M sticky tape, double-sided sticky tape on these things. They'll never come off. Rock and roll, balls of fire, great stuff. I really like this frame. This antenna mount's adjustable, which is cool. I actually hot wire my VTXs with pigtails, and I pigtailed this thing down and out and up to the back. That's about it. Let's see what the weight is on this thing. All up, no battery. You probably can't see this. I can zoom in, I suppose. Not worth it. I'll just tell you. I need to get an LED one. We got, on grammage, 325. Let's try it again. Just make sure. Yep, 325. That is loaded up without a battery. That's including strap. You could probably take 5 grams off for this Realacc tape that I have in here. It's not the slightest quad in the world, but any quad that you're going to have aluminum outrigs on is going to weigh more than a standard carbon fiber frame. But it's worth it. I kind of like my quads heavier because they have a little bit more of inertia and they have a little bit more control for me. I'm not an excellent pilot, so I get by through the day with that. So anyway, it's a very nice and clean carbon fiber. Nice. It's got sharp edges for those of you that boo-hoo about sharp edges and you're all geeky and you sand those down so they don't cut weeds, whatever. I like my weed eater quads. That's just me. I've never cut myself. I think it's just really kind of over the top. Again, I think people overdo this hobby. They get into the whole filter tweaking, and I change my D filters down to PT1 instead of biquad, and I do little things like that. But come on, I'm not gonna sit there and grind down the edges. I'm sorry if you get hit with this thing, you're gonna be worried about more than edges. That's really about it. I think this is a killer frame. I have not really flown it yet. I just did some punch tests and just flew it line to sight around the driveway and up in the air a little bit, but it's got some nice punch. These props are stellar. Love these props. All in all, nice machine. The only thing I would change, maybe, is a little bit more guarding here. But that also might be my camera. My camera might be sticking. It's a cheapo camera. It might just be sticking out too far, too. I don't know. But chances are good I'm not going to trash that camera unless I really hit something head on. It's a good look. I like the aluminum. A little heavy, but it's not like a death warrant. It's not horrible. I wouldn't notice the difference. Somebody that's really good would, I'm sure. Really not much more to say. I give this thing a thumbs up. I think it's a wicked looking frame. It's stupid tight. Don't even try to put a 4-in-1 ESC on one of these things. If you can, let me know how you did it. You must have shrunk the bitch down because it's really hard to do. I may put a VTX on the inside. I don't love this, more for the looks than anything. I'm really not worried about trashing it just because I think we're okay here. I may not do that. I don't know. I like this frame. I think it's a sexy looking frame. It's not super heavy. It's not super light. And it's like 4.2 mil on the carbon, so it's got enough flex to keep it good, but not so much flex that it's going to be vibrating. And at least with the Omnibus F3, it flies like a scalded dog. I will put my CLI dump in either the description or the first comment, so you can just drag and drop my settings in there if you want, because it flies really well. And so I do recommend this. I think it's really cool. I think it's a quality frame for the money, and I'll put a link to where you can get it on Banggood. And until then, keep the shiny side up, and I will put a flight video up here as soon as I can. Take care. Have a good one.